Samantha from JSMO Tutorials here, and today I'm going to show you how to create a cool tie-dye effect with polymer clay. Now, what I've got here is some Primo white polymer clay. It was rolled out on the thickest setting of my pasta machine, which is about 2 millimeters thick. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to burnish that down onto the work surface, and hopefully this will stop it from sticking in the clay. In the cutter. And just give it a good burnish down. And we don't really need to do anything with the baked clay. It's essentially cutting out the shape that you want and then baking it for a full hour at your brand's recommended temperature, because everything's going to happen after it's baked. So the nice thing about this project is there is going to be no waste at all, which is really nice. And what I like to do is I will cut halfway through the clay, and then I'll just run a damp cloth around the edge, and then I will cut again. And the reason I'm doing this is because this clay is thicker than what I usually would cut, and so it probably is going to stick in the cutter. I've also got a bit of a non-stick work surface, so it isn't as good as the ceramic tile when it comes to not sticking in the cutter, but it actually worked that time. That's good. But you're going to cut out 2 of these and remove the center. If you want to bake that, you can, but in today's project I'm not going to be using the center. And then I'm just going to lift that up, and there's a little bit of fluff around the edges. Just remove that and smooth your finger, or smooth it using your finger, and just try to get as smooth a surface as possible. I'm going to sand it after it's baked, so it doesn't matter if it's perfect right at this moment, but I do want to try to get it as smooth as possible to reduce that amount of time. Then grab a piece of plain printing paper, place that down, and you're going to bake that for a full hour at your brand's recommended temperature. In this case, it's Polymer. Okay, and here is how it should look once you've baked it. If the surface isn't as smooth as you would like it, you can always give it a sand, but it should be just about ready to go. So what I'm going to do, we're going to be doing kind of a tie-dye effect. So I'm going to be using scraps of cord that I have left over from pieces that I've made in the past. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and use different types of cord. You can use just regular craft string if you want to, but the different shapes of cord are going to leave different patterns. So what I'll do is I'm going to wrap that around the piece at random and try to get it as tight as you can. So give it a good pull each time. And then that's the first one. And I'll go through the other one. And everything I'm doing with this one, repeat with your other cord of choice. Okay, and that should just about work. And then once you've got it to where you're happy with it, take the 2 ends and just do a simple overhand knot to secure them together, like so. Then I'm going to repeat the process with this one, tying over the top, and again getting it as tight as I can. Okay, and there is how it should look. So, kind of messy, but that's the point. So now have that ready to go, and I'm going to be working on a tile because I don't want to get my work surface messy. So I'm just going to bring this over. I've already worked on it before. Okay, and I'm going to be using 3 different colours of alcohol ink. And these are the ones I'm using. So that was chili pepper, this one's sun bright yellow, and this one is, I always mispronounce this, Baja blue, I believe. And then I've got a little alcohol ink pad, and some 90% alcohol off to the side. Doesn't need to be 90% alcohol, any isopropyl alcohol will do. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to give this a thorough spray with the isopropyl alcohol, wetting it through, like so. Okay, then grab your inks and apply them to the little alcohol pad that you've got. And I'm only using 3 because they mix together quite well, so there's no point in having a huge number of different colours. There we go. Then I'm going to grab this and I'm going to position it so that the red will be at the bottom. Okay, and it's not going through as well as I would like, so I'm going to spray that to get the ink moving a little more. There we go. And just continue patting it down, working that ink through and pressing it through the cord that you've got going, and just layering the colours together. Okay, and that should do. Then I'm going to flip and repeat on the other side. Okay, and then once you've done that on both sides and you're happy with how it looks, allow that to dry for at least an hour with the cords on the piece, and the inks will just kind of soak in and it will create a nice pattern. Okay, and I've left this to dry for a couple of hours, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut that thread, and then I can unravel it and reveal what the pattern looks like. And the pattern's going to look different for each piece that you make. That's just part of the fun of this technique. Also, it will look different depending on the cords that you use. There's also experiment around with those and see which ones you like the results of. There we go. That's how that looks. Really actually came out quite nice. And this side as well looks really nice. And I have done another piece and you can see that it actually came out looking quite different. That side's a little closer to this one, but yeah, you're going to get a different result each time. It depends on how tight the cords are, depends on how much ink you put on there, and it depends on the pattern of the cords as well. But at this point it is completely dry because the ink has been allowed to soak into the clay. So yeah, let's see. Right, so for the back pattern, or this pattern anyway, where the two match the best, I'm going to keep them exactly the way they are. And just choose the one that you like the best. I personally think these two match the best. And then for the other side, you can leave it if you want to, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring over this tie-dye silk screen, and I'm going to use this one right at the top, and I am going to position these so they're right next to each other. And because the silk screen has a slightly sticky back, it will allow silk screening onto baked clay. I'm just going to position it so that it is so that I've got mirror patterns going on, and just burnish the silk screen down so that it sticks. Okay, and then I'm going to be using acrylic white paint. Just going to pop some down over there. And I'm going to work with a very small amount at a time because it's very easy for the paint to bleed through the screen, even if it is a bit sticky. So just apply a little bit at a time. And work quickly because you don't want the paint to dry on the screen, but only work with small amounts of paint at a time. And press down quite hard to get it through the screen. And I would do that for the whole thing. and I'll repeat for the other one. Okay, then lift it up. Like so. And you should be left with this ghost pattern because the layer of paint that we put through is not very thick, so it won't be as solid as it usually is, but that's something that I want. It's got this really nice kind of patchy fabric effect to it. Clean the silk screen and allow that paint to dry. And then once it's dry, I'm going to take these pieces and I'm going to put them into the oven for about 15 minutes to both heat set the paint and also to bake that alcohol ink into the clay. You can apply a sealant to this, but I'm not going to because I want to keep this really nice matte finish that I've got going, but I do need to heat set the ink into the clay. And now if you don't seal them, I would advise not wearing these in direct sunlight too often because the alcohol ink will fade. A lot of these projects where I have a heavy dependency on colour from the ink, they will be inside earrings for the most part, and I find that the alcohol ink doesn't fade anywhere near as much to at all if I do that. Okay, and once that's done, it should have heat set the ink and the paint. It will have also reduced the colour slightly, and that's just because the alcohol ink was exposed to heat. Now I'm going to grab a drill and I'm just going to drill through the top of this piece. And I also have decided that I am going to seal it, but I will do that after assembling so that I can move it around without touching the piece. Okay, but you'll just drill through like so, and you want a hole that is going to be big enough to accommodate the thread that you're going to use to create your piece. In this case I'm going to be using faux suede. So this is the size of the cord that I'm using, so I need quite a big hole. So I'm grabbing a larger drill. I always start the hole with a smaller drill so that I've got something to start with, and then I will go onto the larger drill and just drill through, and I'm holding it like this because I'm holding the sides so that I reduce the amount of pressure on the clay. There we go. Then spin in place to clean that hole. Okay, and then just get rid of those little bits around the edge. Like so. And there you go, you've got a hole big enough for the cord. Then grab the cord, again, faux suede. You can use any cord that you want, and I'm just going to pop it through the hole, like so. Bring the two ends up to meet. I'm going to grab a spacer bead. And I am going to pop that on. And the hole's a little small, but I should be able to get it through. If it's a little small, I'll get it on and then kind of spin a little, and that helps coax the cord through. And then I can pull it down all the way. And I want it to be quite a tight fit because then it will sit nice and snug. Then grab a cord end, and that's what it looks like. And just slip the two cords in there and bring that right down up against the spacer bead, and then close it on one side and close on the other side. Give a good squeeze so that they're both trapped together, and then trim away the extra cord. And then use a ear wire of your choice. Open up the little loop. and pop the cord ends loop through there like so, and close it back up again, and there you go. And now I am going to seal this. Okay, and the varnish I'm going to use is Varathane water-based gloss varnish. I'm just going to grab that on a brush, nice big brush, and I am going to tap that over the surface. And you could do this before applying the cord if you wanted to, but I like to be able to have something to hold so that I can varnish on the inside bits as well. Okay, and I'd let the top part dry, and then I'd varnish the back as well, and I'll repeat with the other one. And here they are, now that they're varnished, and they've got a decent shine to them. And here's what the other side looks like, and I have varnished both sides once along with the actual sides of the piece, both in and out, so that I have sealed the alcohol ink. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the video and my attempt at kind of creating tie-dye with polymer clay. So let me know what you thought in the comments below, and if you like the results. If you did, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing, as I do videos like this every single week. Actually, most days of the week I post some sort of video, whether that's a long form one like this one or a YouTube short, so I'm sure you won't want to miss a single one. And if you'd like to check out my Etsy store to support the channel, I sell cutters and silk screens and all sorts of other polymer clay related tools on there, so please do consider giving that a look. There is a link in the description below. And again, thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will get to them as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.